Virgo season is really going to fortify these other energies into us. Hey y'all, welcome to Meryl's Mystic. I'm Meryl, and I empower witches, bitches, and dudes to complete themselves in order to have healthier soulmate relationships and more purposeful lives. And I'm also a tarot psychic medium, and I connect with the universe and the spirit world to bring you any messages that you may need to help navigate the ever-changing energy in on this crazy blue ball that we're flying through space on together. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, I'm so happy you're here. If you've been here before and you're returning, I'm also happy you're here. Thank you so much for your support. Please be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, share with your friends, cross-watch. For the tarot scopes, I always recommend that you watch for your sun, moon, and rising sign. These are general readings, so the messages might not always land with you, and that's okay. You can leave them for someone else and wait for the messages that are meant for you. So today we are here to talk about Virgo season. Happy birthday, Virgos. I think we'll probably need a little bit of grounding after Leo season, although it was a really fun, fulfilling Leo season, and I hope that you got some of the Leo season magic in your world. And it's still time. There's still time. You can still go and watch your Leo season tarot scopes if you haven't. We definitely are going to have some of the fun, unapologetic energy carrying into Virgo season. So Virgo season goes from August 22nd, the evening of the 22nd, maybe the 23rd where you are, to September 21st. And so in the northern hemisphere, this is the end of summer, and it is the end of winter in the southern hemisphere. And so Virgo season is a mutable sign, and mutable signs always come at the end of the earthly seasons. And then we have an Aquarius. Well, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, right before Virgo season turned to Virgo season, the evening before into the morning after, the 21st to the 22nd, is our second Aquarius full moon. And if you haven't watched the replay of the Aquarius full moon live, definitely go check out the energy reading for what the Aquarius full moon is, the second Aquarius full moon is bringing us. Leo season was bookended by these Aquarius full moons, and since it's literally pretty much happening the same day that Virgo season switches over, it's within the same 12-hour period that these energies are all transitioning. It's gonna carry a lot of that Aquarius energy, and some of the Leo energy that played with the Aquarius energy of being our unapologetic weird selves, no matter what it looks like on the outside. Some other dates that you'll need to remember is Venus went into Libra on August 16th and will be there until September 10th. Now, Venus rules Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. And so when planets are always in their ruling sign, they affect us much more powerfully. And when Venus is in Libra, it really has us prioritizing our emotions when it comes to relationships, not just romantic relationships. And really, I feel I just heard love languages. And so I could see that this is a time where we're really going to be exploring what our love languages are, and also how do we communicate that to others. The Venus in Libra will be helping us communicate our boundaries also. Any of these forms of self-love, or how we love each other, how we love each other, how we want to be loved, all that kind of stuff is really going to be stirred up for those couple weeks, or It's just under a month. Next, the Virgo new moon is Tuesday, September 7th, and there will be a live probably like that Friday or Saturday before. Keep an eye on my social media to find out. And then we will have our full moon in Pisces right at the end of Virgo season on September 20th, which is interesting because we're going to really have kind of like a very Virgo-y Virgo season, since the full moon, a lot of the time the full moon can kind of help break up the energy of the season and can give us a nice balance to it. But we're having these moments now where the full moons are coming at the end of the season, so it's kind of like a highlight. So I'm very curious to see how this Virgo season, how the next month is kind of, I have a feeling the energy is going to kind of build up to this full moon. So all this Virgo energy is really we're still playing off of the energy from the season before. It's the theme of this year, and we're coming off of this very strong Leo Aquarius energy from Leo season, and it's being brought into Virgo season by this last Aquarius full moon. The Aquarius full moon is helping bring over this Leo season energy that was really highlighted by these Aquarius moons, and this energy of being our unapologetic self, being, even if it looked weird from the outside, and really like accepting who we are. And you know, from Cancer season we got like, what do we really want, and who are we really? And now in Virgo season, it's really about like just standing in that place, standing in who you are. I think Virgo energy sometimes can be overlooked because a lot of Virgos can appear to be introverted, or they can kind of stand off in the back. They like to be supporting players. And because it's just after Leo season, which is a very expansive energy, there is more of a contracting energy in Virgo season. And I think Virgo energy and Virgos in general can sometimes be easily overlooked because they all appear always to like have their shit together. Isn't that nice? Wouldn't that be great? Which, I have a Virgo moon, and so I have noticed that people are like, man, you really seem like you have your shit together. I'm like, well, at least it seems like I do. Maybe one day reality will catch up. So, but the really valuable thing about Virgos and Virgo energy is that they're an earth sign, and that they're usually very solid people. They usually already know what they want and what they're working towards, and they seem to be able to effortlessly balance like all the parts of their life. And so we really, that's the part of Virgo that we really need right now, especially after maybe some of the transitions or sacrifices that you felt you've been making this year in order to really step into who you are and to show up as the fullest embodiment of yourself. We really need this, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Virgo season is really going to fortify these other energies into us. So you can still go back and look at your Leo season tarot scopes. You can even go back and look at Cancer tarot scopes, because you really needed to know what Cancer season was bringing you in order to tap into Leo season, and then in Virgo season, that's all getting fortified within us. So it really doesn't matter when you watch these things, you get the messages when you're supposed to get the messages. So it really is kind of it's just about, and the word boundaries kind of kept coming up, but it's more than that. We were already setting boundaries at the beginning of this journey, we've already had a lot of this energy of like setting boundaries, and this is more just, the boundaries are already set. It's about maintaining them. It's about holding those boundaries. It's about holding ourselves accountable for the intentions that we've set, and not allowing ourselves or others to take advantage of that. So another piece of this about boundaries and holding ourselves accountable is our rituals and our habits. And this started coming up with the Leo full moon, that we really needed to start looking closer at not just like our rituals and our routines, because we all need routine in a certain way, but it's also like our habits within our routines and the things that we are doing on autopilot, and we just do them all the time because we're used to it, and a lot of that stuff like you have to continue doing. But we also should be recognizing maybe the habits we formed that aren't really serving us anymore. The routines we've created that aren't setting us up for success. So this is really about like self-responsibility, because that's another quality associated with Virgo, responsibility. They are an earth sign. They know how to show up. They know how to get things done. They know how to make plans. So they're can-do people. They just do it in such a subtle way that unless you have a Virgo close to you that you know, you probably wouldn't even like realize like who the Virgos are. I always feel like it's a lot of times earth signs always surprise you that they're earth signs. Because most earth signs have a good sense of humor too, but they're naturally supportive people when they're not in their shadow, at least. But we all have a shadow. It's for every sign. Every sign has a light and a shadow side. So we're trying to focus on the light side of this energy. But there's always lessons that come with this energy also. And that brings us to our tarot card of this season, which is the Hermit. Virgo is associated with the Hermit card in the Major Arcana. And this is part of like why I feel like Virgo can get a bad rap, because they can easily isolate and be introverted. But I know a lot of Virgos that once you get them out of their shell, they're like out of their shell and they're like, we're gonna do this now. And so with the Hermit, and this is really great for this season, because the Hermit is all about like learning also. It's represented by a masculine figure. And if you notice that they are actually on top of a mountain here, like looking down on creation. And then you see the light in their lantern, and then the staff is actually very symbolic also. Staffs have been used as symbols in all sorts of beliefs and religions for a long time, and it's a symbol of like the way shower, the leader, of the person that knows the way. And then we have the like literal light representation of light, and that's also of idea. And the thing about the Hermit is that, you know, knowledge is power for sure, and Virgo is not a dummy at all. I feel like it's very rare to find a struggling Virgo. We're all human though. And the thing about the Hermit is though that the Hermit has to come out of their cave eventually. You can't just like hoard all this knowledge and education to yourself. You have to share it eventually. That is like a big lesson and message of the Hermit. And when it comes to this Virgo season, it's really great because we're having it highlighted by this Libra in Venus, and we're carrying over our lessons from Cancer and Leo season. And this has all been about learning about ourselves, really, and learning about like how we are with people, and how we are with ourselves, and how we are in the world. And now it's time to fortify that and stand in it. Let's see, they're standing strong. They're looking down like, oh, there's probably some people I should let know what's going on. So it is about that, about being honest too about these things that we've learned about ourselves with those around us. So that's the general overview for Virgo season. Please be sure to follow me at Meryl's Mystic on all platforms so that you can dive deeper with me throughout the season. I do a live for the new moon and the full moon, and then those energy overviews will be posted on YouTube. Cool. Let's get into your Taroscopes. Hey Gemini, how are you? Good to see you. Let's see what Libra season has for you right out the gate. The Empress. So the Empress comes along when it's time to like prioritize your self-care and get more into your feminine energy. And it feels like this Empress in particular, since we've been talking about self-prioritizing, is really wanting you to make sure that you are taking the lessons from Cancer season and Leo season into Virgo season. And I feel like the Empress lately too has been showing up when it's like you think that you're taking care of yourself as best that you can, but you're actually not. And you could be taking care of yourself a little bit more than you are. So Gemini, I feel like it can be difficult for you to like sit still and get quiet. You're very communicative. And you have a very active imagination, so it can be a challenge for you to go inward. But a lot of the Empress's energy is really like about going inward, and then it also about like pampering yourself, and very much about getting into your intuition, getting into your creativity, tapping into your abundance. But it does feel like there's something here about like needing to sit in that, or to sit with yourself, which Virgo season is going to be really good for. And it's going to be good for if you have been doing all these self-care things. It's going to be great to really fortify all those things that you've been doing to care for yourself. Ooh, interesting. The Emperor in reverse, which is basically the Empress. So I don't know if there's just like not much more messages that they have for you than this. But it really is like, even, I mean, the Emperor showing up in reverse is even like, you know, put any of those more masculine tendencies, or traditionally masculine tendencies, the things that we associate with like a masculine solar energy, the doing and the results and the very structured thinking. They really want you to just like put it down for a little while. It's time to be more in your flow, okay? It's time to be a little bit more fluid and easy breezy, I heard. So it's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen these two come up this way. The Emperor is also associated with Aries, so you could have an Aries in your life that may be challenging you. Aries is definitely also a can-do energy, and you and Aries can get along really well together. So sometimes I feel like fire and air can definitely get too caught up in like the doing and the action and the results that you guys, that just in general, fire and air signs have a little bit harder time of like going with the flow, or not having a plan. I mean, we all have those too, but once you kind of get into a set space, it can be a little harder for you to like find that flow again and like that ease. I feel like this is really wanting you to like get into an more ease place. Like, stop making things so hard on yourself. Stop thinking that the world has to be so difficult all the time for you to succeed. Oh, a little celebration needs to be happening. So it's time to blow off some steam, Gemini. I mean, maybe they're just trying to get you out of your head and a little bit more connected to your heart here. And it's time to like connect with some friends and to come together and to, you know, raise a glass. Time to put down the swords. Again, it's like they're trying to get you to, maybe you've been working really hard. You've been really focused, which is really great, because I think sometimes it can be difficult for Gemini to finally decide what they want and then to actually like focus on it. It's a huge accomplishment, but you need to balance out. As a dual sign, you need balance more than most, and it's time to like put down the swords, like put down anything that you like. And that's what it almost like felt like in the beginning, where you're just like, oh no, I'm tough and I got this and I'm here and oh, and accept me and take me as I am. And it's like, put the guns down, man. Like, it's time to like just relax and have a little bit of fun. And and again, slowing down and going inward. Everyone's getting some major arcana energy, but it's all very nurturing to our transformation, and the Empress is the most nurturing. So there's this nurturing of both of your sides, masculine and feminine, making sure that you are balancing out how you're nurturing yourself. Something on my shirt. And with the moon in reverse, they're wanting you to go inward and get a little bit more in touch with your intuition, like I said. But there's definitely like resistance here. It can be hard to look at the shadow side of ourself. It can be hard to look at the side of ourself that isn't so favorable. And I think as Gemini, there's probably a lot of people around you that might reflect that to you, and you're like, no, that's not me at all. There might be some truth in some of the things that you don't want to hear. The moon comes up when you really need to dig deep into your subconscious. The moon card itself is ruled by Pisces, and we do have our Pisces full moon this month, so there might be something powerful going on for you around the Pisces full moon, and that will be at the end of Virgo season, around the 20th. So definitely, like, there's definitely some powerful transitions going on during this time, and it's a balance of work and play for you, for sure. Making sure you're not getting too caught up in the work, making sure you're not getting too caught up in the play, but making sure that you're having enough time for both and enough time to be with yourself and to figure out what parts of yourself you really want to work on in order to level up and evolve. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really good. Yeah, these are those kind of messages where it's like, well, you got to go into your subconscious and you got to find these things that balance you. So it's hard for me to get detailed because these are aspects of you that are very individual. We could get deeper together. If you would like to reach out, we can totally go deeper together and figure out what specifically is coming up for you. But because these are general readings, I do have to kind of generalize the messages. Where did that card go? I thought it was the one, but it's this one, which is actually really good for you. I keep losing these cards. Ew. Okay, so we're gonna do both of these because they're totally both. Okay. So these are the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco, and we have Hot Moon Extremes. Gemini, you should know a lot about extremes. And then the Waning Gibbous 1, Self-Reflection. So those are perfect. Those are perfect for you. Extremes and self-reflection is basically what we were talking about. Extremes. Learn how to handle crises with calm and resilience. Seeking balance is superior to seeking extremes. There are better ways to handle conflict than rage and outrage. There may be someone who seeks to disrupt your business or life in some way. This too shall pass. The affirmation. I handle extremes with grace, yet I seek balance in all things. I handle extremes with grace, yet I seek balance in all things. I handle extremes with grace, yet I seek balance in all things. I'm trying to make those songs, but I don't know if it's working. Most of us have experienced extremes of weather, boiling hot days or the freezing of snow and ice. You certainly know you are alive because the sensation can be so overwhelming or stressful on the body. The hot moon appeared in the hottest time of the year, where the days were long and the rains less frequent. Similarly, we can experience extremes in life. Death, job losses, relationship breakdowns, true fears, big conflicts, booms and busts, and yet this is life. Our situation can change quickly for better or for worse. The hot moon challenges us to build our resilience and reserves of wisdom and calm for those times where things are at their extreme. It reminds us that developing grace under pressure is worth its weight in gold, and that even these extremes in time will pass. Companion stone is sunstone. Let me see if the Pisces moon is also the hot moon. Let's see. Full harvest moon. Oh, no. So I guess I'm assuming the full moon that was on the 22nd would probably be more considered a hot moon. So we just had that. Companion stone, sunstone. Okay, self-reflection. Self-reflection. Be curious about your own nature. Choose to turn inwards to quietly contemplate who and what you are and want. The more you know about yourself, the more you are able to steer yourself well. And it's funny, doesn't it? Like, there's almost like a Gemini twins feel on this card. Know what you believe and why, yet be open to the development of new beliefs and ways of being. The affirmation is, I am not afraid to look deeply at myself in all aspects. I am not afraid to look deeply at myself in all aspects. I am not afraid to look deeply at myself in all aspects. Both scientists and spiritual practitioners believe there is much benefit to be had in self-reflection. The process involves us thinking about what is happening, how we react and make sense of it. It exposes our strengths and weaknesses and gives us information to make change if we choose to. It gives us a small respite. It gives us a small respite in the busyness of life and allows our brain to make some sense of the chaos we experience each day. As self-reflection is something we all would benefit from doing, why don't we do it? First, self-reflection requires us to slow down somewhat and turn our awareness inward, something that does not come naturally to some, and especially not the highly extroverted. You are both. You are extroverted and introverted. Starting small and maybe getting assistance with someone else as a guide can solve this. Second, some people are not sure exactly how to self-reflect and do not try. To change this, examine the various ways to self-reflect during a regular 5-minute recap of the day as you commute home or before dinner. Sit quietly and think about all that has happened and your reactions to it on this moon every moon cycle. Oh, it's a waning gibbous one. So this is literally right after the full moon. So it's kind of cool because the hot moon is the full moon, which we just had, and then this is like the next phase is this self-reflection. Oh, wrong page. There are many ways to self-reflect, and one will suit you. Third, some people self-reflect, but when they do, they don't like the feelings of vulnerability, anger, guilt, or even defensiveness that incurs. Why go there when it isn't pleasant? Here is where we grow our self-responsibility. Short-term pain will certainly be worth long-term gain if we do not ignore the elephant in the room. A regular practice of self-reflection allows us to intercede before problems get too big. We can, for example, catch ourselves before something gets way out of hand. We can apologize and make amends to someone for our mistake. We can catch negative patterns and stop them in their tracks. The theme of waning gibbous moons, of which this is the first, is the process of self-reflection and building resilience. Companion stone or metal, tiger's eye. Cool, so you have... Oh, so by the time you see this, we would have already had the full moon on the 22nd. I'm recording this a few days before. And so it does feel like from this full moon to the new moon, you need to definitely do some digging. If you're watching this outside of that time, that's okay too. We get the messages when we're supposed to. But if you're watching this during this time, this could definitely be like any time after the full moon to the new moon might be a good time for you to take a little bit more extra self-reflection. And I think there is a reflection here about your extremes and how those are serving you and how they don't and what needs to change from that. Cool. If you need to go deeper and you need more help with this, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here, Gemini, and I will see you for Libra season. Bye.